Next, I was going to read some lyrics by Leonard Bernstein. And these are from a couple of little sets of songs, not from actual musical shows that he wrote, although he, of course, wrote some excellent music, at least for musical shows, usually working with other people to write the lyrics. But for these, he actually devised the lyrics himself. And this first one is called, it's a cycle of 5 very short songs called I Hate Music, strangely enough. It was inspired by a woman who lived in the same building that he did, who would complain when he had people over for rehearsals or practicing any kind of music on his own that was bothering her, and she would mutter, I hate music, to him. And then he took that idea and came up with this little set of humorous songs, actually with the thought that they were things that would be sung by a child, but they were written for a soprano that he worked with a lot at the time. And they were premiered in New York, just as a little interesting aside, on November 13th, 1943, which was the night before his huge break in conducting, when the very next day he was asked to fill in for a famous conductor with the New York Philharmonic. And they were broadcasting the concert live on CBS radio at the time, and that was the single event that made him a famous conductor, and then he eventually became the full-time conductor of the New York Philharmonic. So as these were being performed that night, premiere in New York, he knew that the conductor was coming down with the flu, and then he might have to step in the next day. The 5 songs are called, the first one is called My Name is Barbara. And some of you may know that was the title of an album by Barbra Streisand. And she did end up actually recording this one of the set of songs and changed the spelling to fit her spelling of Barbara when she printed the lyrics for her album. My mother says that babies come in bottles, but last week she said they grew on special baby bushes. I don't believe in the storks either. They're all in the zoo, busy with their own babies. And what's a baby bush anyway? My name's Barbara. You can see there's sort of childlike trains of thought. The next one's called Jupiter Has 7 Moons. Jupiter has 7 moons, or is it 9? Saturn has 1,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,0 one is a little sun with 6 little moons of its own. But we have only one. Just think of all the fun we'd have if there were 9. Then we could be just 9 times more romantic. Dogs would bay till they were frantic, and we'd have 9 tides in the Atlantic. The man in the moon would be gigantic. But we have only one. Only one. The third song in the set is actually the one that's called I Hate Music. I hate music, but I like to sing. La-di-da, la-di-da, la-di-da. But that's not music. Not what I call music. No, sir. Music is a lot of men and a lot of tales, making lots of noise, like a lot of females. Music is a lot of folks in a big dark hall where they really don't want to be at all. with a lot of chairs and a lot of airs and a lot of furs and diamonds. Music is silly. I hate music. But I like to sing. La-di-da, la-di-da. The fourth one is called A Big Indian and a Little Indian. A big Indian and a little Indian were walking down the street. The little Indian was the son of the big Indian, but the big Indian was not the father of the little Indian. You see, the riddle is, if the little Indian was the son of the big Indian, if the big Indian was not the father of the little Indian, who was he? I'll give you two measures. His mother. And the last one is called I'm a Person Too. I think I have it. Yeah. I just found out today that I'm a person too. Like you. I like balloons. Lots of people like balloons. But everyone says, isn't she cute? She likes balloons. I'm a person too. Like you. I like things that everyone likes. I like soft things and movies and horses and warm things and red things. Don't you? I have lots of thoughts. Like what's behind the sky? And what's behind the sky? But everyone says, isn't she sweet? She wants to know everything. Don't you? Of course, I'm very young to be saying all these things in front of so many people like you. But I'm a person too. Though I'm only 10 years old, I'm a person too, like you. The second little setup songs I looked at by Bernstein. I'm not going to read all of the songs. I think some of them are more humorous with the music. If you just read the lyrics, they read more like a recipe for making certain dishes, which is what they are. He took recipes from a French cookbook, kind of a classic cookbook by Émile Dutoit, and translated them into English and made songs out of them. They're called La Bonne Cuisine, 4 recipes, and they're the first one's plum pudding, the second one is oxtails, the third one is tavuk gumksis. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that totally correctly. It's a Turkish soup. And the last one's called Rabbit at Top Speed. But I thought I would just read the very short one called Oxtails, and it sort of got me looking at other food-related poetry too, and there's one other song that I was going to read from that kind of follows up on this theme. So this is the Oxtails one. Are you too proud to serve your friends an oxtail stew? You're wrong, for if you have enough of them, you'll find you can make a fine ragout. Remove the tails which you have used to make the stew, and you can bread them and grill them and prepare them with a sauce. You'll find them delicious and different and so tempting. Are you too proud to serve your friends an oxtail stew? And then I wanted to read a quite humorous song that was written by William Bolcom, who's an American composer and pianist, and wrote a lot of cabaret-style songs. And this one is being sung by a woman who is presiding at a gathering of ladies of some sort. And it's called Lime Jello Marshmallow Cottage Cheese Surprise. Ladies, the minutes will soon be read today. The garden club and the weaving class, I'm sure, have much to say. But next week is our culture night, our biggest, best event. And I've just made a dish for it you'll all find heaven sent. It's my lime jello marshmallow cottage cheese surprise with slices of pimento. You won't believe your eyes. All topped with a pineapple ring and a dash of mayonnaise. My vanilla wafers around the edge will win your highest praise. And Mrs. Jones is making scones that are filled with peanut mousse, to be followed by a chicken mold that's made in the shape of a goose. For ladies who must watch those pounds, we found a special dish. Strawberry ice, enshrined in rice, with bits of tuna fish. And my lime jello marshmallow cottage cheese surprise, truly a creation that description defies, will go so well with Mrs. Bell's creation of the week. Shrimp salad topped with chocolate sauce and garnished with a leek. And Mrs. Perkins' walnut loaf that's crowned with melted cheese was such a hit last culture night, we asked, no seconds, please. Now you must try her hot dog pie with candied mushroom slices. Those ladies who resigned last year, they just don't know what nice is. But my lime jello marshmallow cottage cheese surprise, I did not steal that recipe. It's lies, I tell you, lies. Our grand award, a picture hat and a salmon sequined gown to any girl who tries each dish and keeps her whole lunch down. I'm sure you're all waiting for the biggest news. Dessert. We've thought of things in molds and rings, your diet to subvert. You must try our chocolate layer cake with a peanut brittle base and slices of banana that make a funny face. Around the edges, peppermints just swimming in peach custard with luscious little curlicues of lovely yellow mustard. If all of this is too much for you, permit me to advise more lime jello marshmallow cottage cheese surprise. I've made heaps.